Had me share the testimony over and over. We were told that it's not possible. But she said, Pastor Makinde, it's possible, don't worry. Pastor Emmanuel, it's possible, don't worry. And a time came, the underwriter was asking for my green card. Said he just need to see it before he go forward. She said, who does that? Who does that? Do you ask for that from everybody? She said, don't mind him, Pastor Emmanuel, don't mind him. I follow it up. She went and fought them. That was literally what happened. She went and fought them and they refused to ask me again. Before the date of closing, lo and behold, green card came. I made the photocopy, I gave it to her. She said, I took it to him, I gave it to him, take the green card. At the time, my income in a year was maybe 20 or less than 20,000. So buying a house, the much that we can buy is a shack. And the best money anybody can give somebody with such income is like 40,000, 50,000 that they can give as loan. But she said, just look for the house. And we looked for the house. We saw one with Mr. Otto. And she said, let's leave the money part of it and we'll work it out. You are my brother. I should do everything possible. I stand here before God and I not. She worked everything humanly possible, including me getting grant. I got more than enough money for closing that even went into equity of the house before we move in.
Hallelujah.
Now, as if that was not enough, where we were living at the apartment, we already renewed the lease before I went to London. We renewed the lease because it was dragging. The guys were making issues, but she was fighting them. They already said, let's forget it, we'll look for another one. She said, no, if you like that house, we are buying it. And I was in London when the email came, send us this, everything is done. You need to schedule a day for closing. I said, when I come back, we'll do it. But you know what interests me most? The lease I was to break, I have to pay $1,000 to break the lease. She said they will pay you that money. I said, I like your style. And lo and behold, she told them, he has gone and signed lease. If you guys really meant this thing, you must give him another incentive. They say, okay, we'll give him. Lo and behold, the check came. Wow. To pay for breaking the lease. I say, wow, sister, let me add my name to your name. Because being around you is making money come from every angle. So today she's in the house. She knows more than you can ever imagine. And by the grace of God, she'll be sharing with us from our wealth of knowledge. She's trusted. I've been with her for some time now, like I said, close to 7 years. And when she say good morning, you don't have to check your time. It's still 11:59. And when she say good afternoon, if you check your time, it's after 12:01 p.m. So no hassle, no cause for alarm. And a few months ago, I connected her with Rabuni because of some processes that were going on. Rabuni said, wow, this is awesome. She's on top of it. She's on top of it. And that is who she is. Please rejoice with me as we welcome Sister Afia. Please celebrate Jesus. Thank you so much for coming. Hallelujah. I got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. It touched me this morning when the sisters were singing. I don't know what came over me, but tears just started to come out my eyes. So I appreciate it. Like you said, I'm a pit bull. I go after what I believe in. And I believe in Africans. I believe in brown, black, all sorts of people to get the houses that they deserve. A brief story about myself. I was 18 years old. I went to Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida. And I was going around. I was raised in an African household. My father was a professor and a pastor. And my mother had her own African boutique. So I was raised in a very strict household, as you all know. Growing up, we didn't like it because we were restricted, couldn't do a lot of things, go out with our friends. So I went out and I went to look for a place to rent. And was close to my father's university, Dr. Roosted in Tallahassee. And this couple was fighting. They were arguing back and forth. Well, we want to take her rent. Who's going to collect her rent if she rents from us? Not knowing they were going through a divorce. So me being the bold Sagittarius that I am, and I'm 18 years old, I said, well, what if I buy the properties? There were 4 houses, single families sitting next to each other. And I thought to myself, okay, if I buy this house and my mortgage is $500, if I buy all 4 of them, I'll charge everybody $800. That's the African in me. I'm going to charge extra. $800, play my $500 mortgage. So I decided to buy the house. I didn't buy 1, I bought all 4. So when I bought it, I didn't tell my parents. So I went home and I told my dad, I said, you guys need to sit down. They were like, what? Are you pregnant? I said, what? No way. I'm scared. My parents are really strict. So I said, I bought 4 houses. And my dad was like, what? What do you mean you bought 4 houses?
How did you do it?
And then so he said, just like what Pastor said, how did you do it? What I did was I negotiated with the 2 sellers that were going through a divorce. This is a very good way to get house and real estate for cheap. 2 people that are fighting, they want to get a divorce, they want to be done with each other. So they'll sell you the house for cheap. I bought the house for $25,000 each house, so I paid $100,000. I went to a hard money lender. Interest rate was 12.9. Wow. Everybody's crying about high interest rates now. That's not high. So I bought the house with the intent on flipping it and selling it. So me and my father went into the houses, and we only had to change the carpet, the linoleum floors. We did that ourselves. I put it online. I rented it for like about 5 months while I was fixing up the houses. And then I sold them. I think it was about 4 months, I sold all of them. So at 18, I sold each of the houses for $50,000 each. Whoa. I bought it for 25, sold it for 50. I didn't put a lot of money into it. So when I tell you that you can buy a house, you can buy a house. You have to have determination. You have to have, just like what Pastor said, the focus. What am I going to do when I get the house? Who is going to pay the bill? I always look at somebody else paying my bill. I don't want to pay my own bill. I rather give somebody a rent, and then they make me rich by paying my mortgage. So I say that to say there's several programs out there. The one the pastor got was a phenomenal program. $10,000 was a block grant that doesn't have to be paid back. Another $5,000 was also a grant. So if you are going to do the math, the only thing you have to put down on an FHA loan is 3.5% of whatever the value of the house is, or the purchase price. So if you have somebody giving you the 3.5%, in his case, they gave more than that because it was a 3.5% and the closing costs. So when you're doing a regular FHA loan, you're going to get a house for $100,000. 3.5% of that will be your down payment. Then closing costs, which Pastor Charles can tell you, closing costs can run anywhere from 4 to 5% of the sell price. So now you have the money for the down payment. Where's the closing cost? That's where the down payment assistance program comes in. I have a loan that will give you the 3.5% for the down payment, or 5% for the down payment. So what does that mean? 3.5 goes to your down payment, 1.5 goes towards your closing costs. This is a seller's market right now. We know how to finagle the numbers. If the value is there on the property, the seller can give you seller help, even though it's not going to come out of their bottom line. They raise up the value, give you the seller help on the back. So there's several different ways to do down payment assistance and purchases. One thing that the pastor said, it's very, very important. You have to have a lender that is willing to work with you, that is willing to take your side over everybody. I look at all of my clients as my family members. I'm going to defend you in front of everybody. I may come behind you and tell you this and this and that, but I'm going to make sure that we get it done. I make sure that like what they were asking him for. If you're not going to ask everybody for that, don't ask him for that just because he has a different last name that looks like it's African. That's inappropriate and it's illegal. So that's the main thing that you get with working with me. I want to be able to get people to the point where they are buying houses and stop renting, because when you rent, you're paying the landlord's mortgage. If you were to calculate your rent, if you pay $1,000 a month, calculate that by how many years you've been there, the months that you've been there. I just closed a loan. When they calculated, I think they were paying $1,900 a month. When I did the calculation for 3 years, they paid the landlord $72,000. But you don't have money for a down payment? That's $10,000 or $15,000? They want you to think that you don't have it. Because if you don't have it in tangible paper, then you feel like you don't have it. You do have it. The different programs that we have, FHA, conventional, the same way. Conventional loans, you have to have higher credit scores. I love to go FHA because you can have a high credit score or a low credit score. Everybody gets about the same interest rate. Please, one thing I want everybody to understand that's listening, do not buy a house because everybody is saying the interest rates are going up and they're going to go down. That's a lie. It's a lie. And the people that know it are the ones that are buying houses while all of us are sitting down waiting for something to happen that's not going to happen. 6% is not a high interest rate. 12% was high to me, but I still did it at 18 years old. Why? Real estate. Like what the pastor said, it's real. It's money. My house that I'm sitting in now is the 6th house that I bought. I have over $150,000 in the house. I can pull out of that. Me myself personally, don't believe in 401k. I don't believe in that because when my father was at the university, he had a 401k that his job matched. And when he was retiring to go to Ghana with my mom, I think it was like $350,000 in there. When he said he wanted to take all that money out, they gave him about $120,000. And I said, and I called the 401k people. I said, where's all the money? Oh, he's not at this age. He's not at that age. Excuse me. It's my money, right? When you go to your bank and you put money in your account, $1,000, can I come around and tell you I'm going to take $5,000 of that? For what? Your real estate. My kids, I have 3 boys. All of them, 2 of them are going to college next week. One of them is going to still be in the house. He's 15. I want to be able to let them buy a house so by the time they have their kids, they get married, 30 years down the line, you know what their 401k is? Sell the house. Sell the house. You're not going to pay 401k any money. You're not going to pay anybody any money. They're not going to take taxes out of this and that because you kept whatever the rules are that I don't even agree with. Sell the house, take your cash, and go. It's simple. Give some to your kids, give some to whoever you want to give it to, but it's your money. We work too hard in this country to be able to give our money away. We have loans for foreign nationals, people that do not have social security numbers. If you have an EIN number, we can do the loan if you have 20% down. That was unheard of before. Self-employed people who have tax returns. I used to shy away from those loans because you have to calculate the net income, what you didn't tell Uncle Sam, the bottom line, then you divide it by 24, then you come with your monthly payment. It's nothing. It's not any money. We have a bank statement program that if you give 12 months of your bank statements, the underwriter will calculate the bank statement for you and tell you this is how much you made. I have a loan right now, $900,000. A handyman and his wife are buying a house. When I looked at their tax returns, I said, no. You can't do it. Because you made about $350,000 a year, but you deducted $300,000. So I can only use $50,000. And you want to buy a $900,000 house? It's not going to happen. But we did it because we did the bank statement program. 12-month bank statement, we average his income, he makes $60,000 a month.
Whoa.
Average. All of us put our money in the bank. If you're working a nursing job, if you're working a living job, you know, you put your money, let your money go through your account. Even if you take it out, let it go through it. If I see it, I can use it. If I don't see it, I can't use it. All these programs are available for people the same way a lot of different cultures add their money together to come up with a down payment is the same way that we can do it. The same way that the pastor was saying that the lady did some cassava leaves or the bitters. You have to do. One hand does one thing, the other hand does something else. If you're working in this country and you are not doing multiple streams of income, you're always going to be poor. You always have to find a way. You can, once you buy a house, it's yours. You put it in your children's name, you put it in your husband or wife's name, if that's the kind of relationship you all have. Put all those things together, then you can refinance, pull money out, do projects back home. I just finished my house in Ghana, but I was pulling money out a little bit at a time to do the work over there. So it's very, very important that we know what type of program we want to do. Come and talk to me. My website is www.stoprenting.biz. I will send a link to everybody. So it's very easy. Stop renting. Period. Stoprenting.biz. Once you stop renting, then you'll realize that you can be a landlord. You buy your house, you outgrow that house, you rent it. Rent it to a Section 8 recipient. That's guaranteed money. I used to manage an apartment complex. They give these people $2,000 a month for a 6-bedroom house. So imagine the government is paying your rent on your investment property. And then you go get another one. And then you get another one. And teaching your kids to do the same thing. I'm going to definitely try to get into the schools, because when I was in school, nobody taught me how to build my credit. I didn't even know what credit was. When I went to school, they gave me a credit card. I thought that was a gift. I literally took all my friends out. We spent $2,000 in the weekend. And then they sent me a bill, and I'm like, what is this? I didn't know I'd have to pay that back. But that's the reality of it. A lot of us don't teach our kids, and we don't learn what credit is, what housing is. So everybody needs to definitely stop renting if you're renting. This time is the best time. Contact Pastor Charles for the real estate. This is the best time to buy, because everybody is relaxed. The kids are in school. Thanksgiving is going to come soon. Christmas is going to come soon. That's when the sellers are going to give you extra money that they normally wouldn't give you, because they're desperate to sell their houses. There's several different places. I also flip houses now. I still flip houses. I have an investor that will give you 90% of the aftermarket value. So if I buy a house for $80,000, it costs me $80,000 to fix it. After I sell it, after I fix it, the value is $300. They'll give me 90% of the $300. That's huge. When I was buying the 4 houses, I had to put 50% down. But I worked the down payment out with the lender where I didn't put anything down, because I told him I was going to give him his money back in 6 months. So everything is negotiable. I want everybody to know all of the loans that are here. You go down to 580 credit score. I have flyers that I'm going to hand out to everybody with my information on there. Text me. Pastor will tell you. The only problem I have is I am a workaholic. I am. So if you text me at 11, I'm texting you back. So just don't text me unless you want to answer. All the information is going to be here. I want everybody to get to the position where they can build generational wealth for their kids, for their family. My parents said the same thing. We're only going to be in this country for a little while. I'm 45. They left. God, may he rest in peace. My father died 2020, February, before the pandemic. But he was 70-something years old. And he stayed in this country because of us, to give us opportunity. So build money here. Here is where you get money to build back home. Because back home, there is no loan. There is no loan. If you go ask the bank for a loan, they may slap you.
Yeah.
Right.
And if the interest rate is probably like 50%.
Yeah.
So it's very important to take what you have here. While you're here, take all the money that you can get. Because we're working hard. We're the ones working for these corporations. We're the ones making money for Holy Cross and all these other hospitals that were staying over there slaving 16 hours a day. When we're back home, we didn't work 16 hours a day. And then people talking to you like you're a child. Just look at them, smile, get your money, and take it back home. Real estate is where you are going to make money. Utilize Pastor Charles. Utilize me. Utilize Pastor Emmanuel. People are in your presence that have a lot of money and a lot of things and wealth to share. I know all the programs like the back of my head. I know all of them. Nobody wants to go up against me when they're trying to do cannoli and connive with my clients. Because I know the rules, I know what needs to be done, what needs to be said. You don't need a green card to buy in this country. You can have a work permit. Did you know that? Everybody lies. That's what he said. Don't listen to people that don't know the business. Ask the question. If you don't ask the question, you're not going to learn. A lot of people like to give advice about what they can do and what they've experienced and everything else. Everybody's situation is different. Believe in yourself that you can do it. If you're in church here, you're manifesting things. You believe in God. You believe in the Holy Spirit. You believe in all that. So why not believe in yourself? It's something that I want everybody, I take very passionate about. I'm going to go ahead and end this now because I can talk forever. But I have flyers, I have my cards, but I want everybody to realize that you are going to buy a house. If it's not this year, it's going to be next year.
Amen.
In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you.
Celebrate Jesus, somebody. Glory. Wow, that is amazing. And I love the concluding part of it. It's prophetic. You're going to buy a house. Kai, you will buy a house. Somebody is not shouting amen, he's just laughing. You will buy a house. Okay, if that person is not saying amen, I will buy and give you basement. I think that looks good, right? Now, it's time for questions. Let's take questions. I know this information is a lot that we've heard today, so it's important that we ask questions. So, you will still have time. We'll create a little desk somewhere that she will sit with you to discuss, and Daddy Elder also will sit with you to discuss some things that you want more clarity or details about. But let's take a few questions that are coming up. Please, microphone. Question number 1. Okay, somebody here, use your microphone. Okay, please let her hold her microphone. Let Elder Charles also hold his microphone. Go ahead with your question, ma'am.
My question is this.
As a first-time buyer,
Yes.
as a first-time buyer, what are the steps?
You are facing the something, that's all.
As a first-time buyer, what are the steps I need to take if I'm buying a house for the first time?
As a first-time home buyer, what must she do? I think, should we bring chair here so that both of them sit down here and begin to attend? We can see them fuska.
Yes.
Okay.
Please bring. Okay. Yes. Thank you. I think this is good now. So we can be asking the questions and working it out. Okay. As a first-time home buyer, what must she do?
So a first-time home buyer, the first thing you need to do is let me pull your credit. Once you credit qualify, then I will be able to income qualify you. So like the pastor was saying, make sure certain things like your bank account, make sure there's no NSFs when they return the check back to you. Insufficient funds. I don't want to see that bank statement. That can possibly deny your loan. So certain steps that you have to take. Pulling your credit first, making sure that your bank statements are together, your tax returns. I don't need, unless you're self-employed. If you work for a company and they pay you W-2, Then I need 2 years of your W-2s. On my business card, you'll see a checklist of items that I need. W-2s, paycheck stubs, etc. to buy as a first-time home buyer. The actual program that I have, you don't have to go and look for the grant. The grant is already built into the loan. Usually you would have to go look for the grant, but now the grant is automatically built into the loan. So you don't have to worry about doing that as a first-time home buyer.
Okay. Another question?
What if you don't collect W-2, they give you 1099 instead of W-2?
Okay.
Can that qualify you?
Yes, I have a 1099 program. It's for self-employed people that are either contractors that are 1099, CNAs, LPNs, RNs, 1099. There's an actual 1099 program that will allow you to qualify. The trick with that program is bank statements. Make sure the money is going through your account. Then you can do that particular program.
If you are giving check, it has to pass through your account or your check.
Yes. If you're giving check, if you're giving cash, if you're giving Cash App, that's connected to your account, that's fine. All of us know that a lot of people get paid by Cash App, Zelle, all that. COVID has changed a lot. Before, they were like, well, what's that Cash App? Prove this and that. As long as we have a letter, say for instance you have a CPA that does your taxes every year, H&R Block, your uncle down the street, whoever, they can write that they have been doing my taxes for the past 2 years. This is the business that I have. We can accept that letter in addition to the bank statement. So as long as everything filters through your account and I can see it, then we're fine. And then we'll average that income. So you can use all of the 1099 income instead of just using what you would report.
Can I just quickly add to that? She will look at it to make sure that the underwriter will actually approve it, because we want to make sure the house closes. You might not get a $1 million house now, but get started.
Yeah.
It could be a 250, it could be a condo.
Yeah.
Get started, because build the equity on that one. Then in the future, you can go for the 500,000. But just start.
Definitely to add on that, please, when you're buying a house, don't go look for your dream house. For the first house that I bought, I already told you, it was 2-bedroom, it was investment property. Then the first house that I lived in, when I had Kofi, my second son, had no master bathroom. That's huge. As a woman, I want my own bathroom. I don't want to share with the kids. But I bought the house just to get into the market here in Maryland. So a lot of things that I see, Pastor Charles will tell you, I give you a pre-approval for $300,000. My uncle said this place is this. Before you know, you come back with $500,000 and you give it to him. Then you want us to make it work. Where am I going to get that $200,000 from? You have to start somewhere. Start somewhere, then you go on to the bigger houses if that's what you choose, if the money is in it. Don't go buy, like what Pastor said, that house was $500, now it's $800 in 3 years. That's a good house. That's an excellent house. But you go buy a house that's $500 and your neighbors, the house have always been $450, and the value is not pushing up. That's not a good investment. Money, you want cash in your property, because any value you have on your property is cash to you. You can come to me and refinance and say, if I want 90% of the value of that property. I just closed a loan. I gave her $120,500 and some change. I wired it to her account. She was crying. She couldn't even believe it because the money was in there. That's how a lot of these people in this country are making money. They don't have any money in the bank. They don't have the best credit. I see it. A lot of people that we think have the best credit, all their credit cards are maxed out. They eat out every single day. They don't know how to cook. No, I'm telling the truth. I've seen those clients. They're maxed out on their credit cards. We don't have to be maxed out on our credit cards. We know how to cook. We know how to do all those things. We know how to make money, make more money. So we have to utilize those things.
Good. Another question.
She has a question.
Africans are scared of spending credit card.
Like a condo. What is a condo and how many bedrooms does it have?
A condo is a condominium. Condominium is like you're buying a house. It's not, we're comparing the type of houses. A single family home is something standing alone. But a condo is somewhere you buy like in a group. That means you only own the inside of the house. Now, the maintenance of the outside is what you pay for. So you're paying a condo fee. So some of the things we look at when you're buying a condo is the amount of condo fee that is being charged in that area. Some of them will charge you $200, $250, $300 to cut the grass, to maintain your windows, or to do some other things that is generally owned, because what you own is the inside of that unit that you purchased. You don't own, you generally own with others. Those other things that are general properties.
Maybe in a layman language, like the apartment complexes we live, so you own that inside the apartment. So every other thing in the environment, you pay for snow to be cleared, you pay for grass to be cut, you pay for the place to look good, but you own that part. Is one good way, because it's usually not as expensive as a standalone. Very good investment property and where to start.
Let me also say about a condo. Be very careful about the condo, because as a lender, I grade you with your neighbors. If she pays her condo rent, you're good. He pays good. This whole side they don't pay. I'm not gonna do your loan, because you have to have at least 90% of the community that pays their bills on time. So condo is good, but like he said, you don't own the outside. So you have to be careful to make sure that you don't buy a condo that's in a delinquent area, because it'll be difficult for you to refinance to take the money out. That's another thing that you need to look at when it comes to a condo.
So neighbor must be good. Don't go and dwell with bad neighbors. Okay, go ahead.
So my second question is about a second home buying. You're buying your second home for business purpose. What are the requirements and how do you go about that?
That's a good question. I do commercial loans. So I do loans on churches. I do loans on investment properties. I'm doing a funeral home for $2.3 million in Baltimore. Second home is easier than the first home, because you already know what the process is. So the second home, the only real difference is the down payment. When it comes to the second home, you may have to put down at least 20%. That one you can't get a grant, because it's an investment property. You have to have what we call skin in the game. So they want to see that you have a down payment. They want to see that the rents that other landlords are getting in the area, they want to see what that rent is, and you want to see what that rent is as a landlord. So you know how much you can charge for rent in that particular area. It's called fair market rents. So when we do the appraisal, we're going to make sure that you're getting the right value for your property. We're also going to let the appraiser give you fair market rent for the area, so you can calculate in your head, okay, this is how much I'm going to be able to charge somebody inside my house. So the difference is you pay a higher down payment, anywhere from 10 to, I have one lender that'll do 10%, but they're kind of iffy. But 20% is mainly the portion that you have to do. You can also put the house in the name of your company. So you will guarantee it under your personal, but when you look it up, it'll be We Flip LLC. That's the name of my company. So it'll be in the company's name.
My second question. So go ahead.
Can I just add to it? The second home that she's buying maybe is the one you want to live in, or the one you want to buy with the intention of doing business with. So it matters though.
Yeah, it
you know,
matters. Yeah. Are you trying to buy it to live in?
To live in a
Okay. She said business. Yeah.
Oh, business. Okay.
Yeah. But then that is a good thing, because if you upgrade, speaking on another thing, when I had the house that had no master bathroom, I upgraded when I had Kojo, my third child. So I upgraded. So I was able to get an FHA loan if I'm upgrading. So this house is worth $250. The new house is worth $450. So you are allowed to have 2 FHA loans if you're upgrading. Why do you want to go FHA? Low down payment, low interest rate. So as long as you're upgrading, you can use that same FHA loan to buy the new house with the same down payments that I got with the first house. So that's the difference between a second home investment, second home primary.
So how do you increase equity on your house that you're currently living?
Yeah, like what Pastor Charles says. If you pay an extra payment at the end of the year, beginning of the year, whenever, I usually make that extra payment when I do my taxes, because I'm getting a lot of in tax return. So I make an extra payment. That'll cut down your mortgage by 7 years. Each extra payment a year that you make, Pastor said, very important that you say principal. If you just send him a check and you're losing your mind and you don't put principal on it, it's going to the interest. Make sure you keep a copy of that. I'm big on taking pictures and emailing it to myself. So in case the lender ever comes back and says, oh, you didn't make this, no problem. I'll shoot you the email that I sent you 2 years ago. Always, always, when you go to closing, the closing dealer will send your full disclosures to your email address. So when you go do your taxes, you can email it give it to the tax preparer. All your information is there. So you get a first-time home buyer credit for buying a house, in addition to the down payment help that you already got from me from the beginning. All these things you get. If your income goes down, you can contact the real estate board of where they do the real estate taxes. I did this several times. When the market went down, I gave them my tax return, and they cut my property taxes in half, which cuts your mortgage payment by that amount as well. So the taxes in Colombia are around $4,000 a year. I showed them my tax return. I qualified because my income was lower. They cut that down to $2,000 a year. So that in turn cut down what's on my monthly payment. Does that make sense? And that's something that you can text me about, ask me a question. If you have a question, just text me your question and I'll give you the answer. She was waiting. And then go ahead.
Okay. So if the first, you're talking about buying, a second house. So if your first house, you had the VA loan.
VA, okay.
Right. So then, but with the VA loan, you can only purchase, I think, one house.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. And with the VA loan, there's no down payment. You just
no down payment, no mortgage insurance.
Right.
Very good loan.
Right. So now, if, for example, I want to purchase a second house, I cannot use the VA. Correct?
You can't use the VA. Yes. But are you going to upgrade? Are you buying that house as an investment property?
Yes, say I want to buy the house as an investment property.
Yeah, no, you can't use the VA.
Okay, so then I would have to use the FH.
You can use FHA, and you can also use conventional. We'll talk privately how to make it work. There's a way to make it work to get it done. But yes, to answer your question, no, you cannot use the VA to buy an investment property or a second home.
Hi. Please, I want you to please expatiate on the credit score. Some people say that if you want to buy a good house, you need to have like maybe 800 or 7 something. But you just mentioned 580 now. So can you please expatiate on that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
First of all, the type of house, whether it's good or bad or large or small, the credit score 580 and above. Okay, so the person that I approved, a real life person that I approved, they have a 588 credit score. He's at his job for 24 years. he has a 401k with like 10, 15, 20,000 in it. It's called compensating factors. So if your score is low, give me something I can work with. Give me something that I can tell the underwriter why you are a good investment, why you're a good risk. They look at the credit score as a risk base, right? So if your risk is high, the benefit should be high as well. Have I been at my job for more than 2 years? Have I stayed in the profession for more than 2 years? Do I have a 401k that we use 60% of your 401k, what's in your account, we use 60% of that towards assets, even if you're not going to use it towards the loan. Another qualifying, if you're a veteran, there's so many different compensating factors that I can tell you individually that will help your situation. We have a DU system, which is a desktop underwriting system, that we put all your information in and it spits out an approval or denial instantly. I can look at that and say, okay, this is why you're denied. Then I'll tell you to fix it. When you fix it, then I'll go back in and then it'll approve you. So it's it's a good system because it tells you what they don't like about your loan. So you don't have to have an 800 score. I think the last 800 score I saw was, he has an 805. College student, just graduated, 24. It's so easy to get a good credit score. All his credit cards, he had 4 credit cards. All of them were around $2,000 maximum credit limit. He only spent like $200-300. That's it. Get your credit card, never go above 30%. It's very simple. If my credit limit is $1,000, go into your calculator, 1,000 times 30%. I'll send everybody a YouTube link that I did on credit. It got like 10,000 views already. If you text me, I'll send you that link. It tells you and it breaks down how you should spend your credit cards. A lot of people, older people, foreign people, they don't like credit cards because they've been told that they're bad, they're evil, they're the devil.
Thank God for that.
It's never gonna, credit cards are good if you use it correctly.
Correct.
Anything is good if you use it correctly. Anything is bad if you use it wrong.
That's it.
So if you only spend $300 on $1,000, you're good. I know how to manipulate the credit system by just telling you to pay off your bill. Pay it down. Pay it down and your score will shoot up. It'll shoot up immediately. It'll shoot up at least 30 days. So that's something that, don't worry about the credit. If the credit, somebody had a 438. We did a commercial loan for her on a rehab property in Alabama, and she pulled out $68,000 cash with a 438 credit score. So credit doesn't mean anything if you have equity in your property. Because as the lender, I don't care. I want you to not make your payments. I can come get your house. Because your house is more valuable, right? That lady has over 40% of equity. If she stops paying me, okay.
Can I just quickly ask the credit system? It looks at your attitude to things. It's a way, because nobody's going to ask you, Mr. Dees borrowed you money, how did you pay? Even look at it from a point, you went and applied for a job. Guess what? Before they actually give you that job, they pull your credit, because that's the only way they'll know that, oh, it's okay. Somebody gave you have an health issues. You went to the hospital. You got treated. But you refused to pay the hospital bill. You're a bad person. Look at it from that angle. You're buying a house. It's not that, oh, I have a 700 credit score. It's not me. If you look at it and look, I'm going to treat this thing right. I got treated, I'm happy. You should, at least be generous and pay the bills.
Yeah.
If you keep it like that, then it won't matter to you what your scores are. Be it low or high. But what you're buying, the underwriter is going to look at it and say, this person will pay your money. The trust, and that will get you a house. Now, if your credit score is high, you'll be able to negotiate better. But if you need that house, be it commercial or based, you don't care because you know what you're going to get from it. So if they give you 12.5, you take it.
I take it.
Because you know you're going to make your money out of it. It doesn't matter what your scores are.
Good. Question?
My question is, one of the requirements to get the house, she said you need to have 2 years tax. Somebody like me, I've been filing my tax with my 1099, but last year I got my social, so I filed tax. Will that qualify me, or I need to file another one next year?
She's been
2 years.
yes, she's been using 1099 previously.
Yeah.
Now she uses her social for taxes. Can she
Now
match
she
it?
get W-2.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go by your W-2s. I'm gonna go by your W-2s now. So, do you have to file tax return? No. W-2. I want to see your W-2s now. So you could have been 1099 for 3-4 years, and now you got a job doing W-2. I'm gonna use your W-2 and your paycheck stubs now. I like the W-2 program only because I don't have to ask you for your tax returns. So if you have a 1099 and you have 1099 now, then I have to go back 2 years and prove the 1099 income, and I have to calculate your 1099 income to come up with your average income for now. I'm just going to take those 2 years, I'm going to divide it by 24 months, and that's going to be your income. If you do the 1099 program that I was telling the brother back here. So to answer your question is, you're qualified now for what you have now on the W-2s that you have right now and the paycheck stubs that you have right now.
So one W-2 and the current pay stub can do the magic.
Can do the magic, and then all we'll do is what we call a letter of explanation. I'll write the letter. Dear underwriter, my name is Okosia Owusu, and when I came to this country, I was working as a 1099 employee from this day to this day. Now I am a W-2 employee. My current job is this. I started this day, and I'm currently here. I'm adding my W-2 and my paycheck stub to do the loan. When you explain to the underwriter things up front, they don't have to think. I don't want the underwriter to think about anything. I want to tell them the truth up front and tell them what it is, and then they'll be like, okay, because the guidelines allow that. But let's say, for instance, she didn't say that, and then we go to underwriting, and they ask me for W-2s, I'm going to be looking like, oh my God, where am I going to get this from? And then I'm backpedaling. So that's why it's very important to tell your loan officer everything, like your lawyer. Tell me all of it, so I know how to protect you and what to give, not to give the underwriter. But if you don't tell me everything up front, I'm going to be giving it to him thinking that everything is fine. And when they open up things, because I can go into the system and see when you started working, the first day that you ever got a job. I can go into an EIV system and see that, when you started working. So it's always good to tell the truth up front. Tell me everything so I can lay it down for the underwriter. So it's easy. We do this as a pre-approval before you even go out with the agents. By the time you go out with him, it's too late. Because you're going to put in a contract on somebody's house. And I have to promise the seller that you are 100% qualified to buy their house. So it's very important at the pre-approval stage, before you even go out with him. And to help him, because I know like a lot of my agents are going through, I give you 300, you tell him you want him to show you 350. No. You're going to be denied. You're going to be crying. You're going to let your kids go see that house that you can't get. You see what I'm saying? I'd rather tell you the truth so you know what it is. Because when I was buying a house, my kids went over there. I knew it was the house because they all sat on the front of the foyer. Everybody that came to look at the house, they said, this is my house. They told them, don't even come in. My mom is going to buy this house for me. So I understand the pressures that you go through as a home buyer, as a mom, and as a dad. You don't want to let your kids down. So I'm not going to play around with the loan process at all. I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to tell you what it is, and then we can all work through it and get the house that you deserve.
Okay, let's take 2 more questions. Morning.
Yes, I wanted to know if, are there any loans that are specific for medical professions? You know, like, I think there are some for nurse practitioners and for medical doctors.
There are,
I've read it, so-
yes, there are loans for medical professionals, there are loans for firemen, there's loans for police officers, there's loans for service people, teachers. Teacher in Baltimore, I just did a house over there. He got the house for half off because he was a teacher in the city.
Half off.
Half off the house.
Jesus. What that means is if the house is 500,000, he's getting it for 250.
Yeah.
So go to school and be a teacher. In Jesus' name.
Yeah, the government. Yeah, the government will pay the difference. Then, yeah, the person who's selling the house is not going to lose their money. It's a government program to incentivize people to buy in certain areas. Like you said, for doctors and nurses, there's specific grants for you all. Some of your hospitals will add to the grant. So if I'm giving you 5, they'll give you 5. So there's certain checks. There's a trolley grant in Baltimore City. Easier than your grants. Easier than the CBDG grants.
Wow.
Yeah.
He went on the trolley, and they sent the title company $5,000, and I didn't have to turn in any paperwork.
Whoa.
Remember the paperwork I had to turn in for you?
Yeah.
The check. I was like, "What is going on? What? The check is there?" They were like, "Yeah." It's as simple as that. So it's just a matter of looking at it. We can stack grants. If you get 5,000 from here, 10,000 from here, 5,000 from here, I can stack it as long as you don't walk away with money. That's fine.
It goes on the equity of the house.
With you, didn't the EMD? Did you get that back?
No.
Okay, so there's some cases where you can get your earnest money deposit back because there was so much grant money.
Yes.
That you
They
didn't
put it on the loan.
Exactly. That's what I remember.
1,000. They put it on the loan.
Yes. So an EMD is an earnest money deposit. It works the same way as a security deposit at an apartment complex. The only difference is that you get the value of it at closing. You don't have to wait the year to see whether you kept the place in order. So you can get that money back. So we can stack grants.
Can I just try to enlighten, because getting grants, I worked with grants back in the days. Do you have to take classes before you qualify? You have to get a certificate to make sure they can do that grant?
Yes, some of the grants you do have to take a class because it's a good class. I taught the class for Ray Lewis's foundation. It's a good class because it teaches you home ownership. It's a class that you want to take. It's going to tell you how to pay your mortgage. It's going to tell you how to save your money. It's going to tell you how to use your credit cards. It's going to tell you what PITI is. It's going to tell you all those things that you normally wouldn't know. You take that class before you even put a contract on.
It's an informative session.
Very
And
informative.
it's very good. As a matter of fact, every home buyer is expected to do that.
Yeah.
Because this is not like where we came from, where everything, you see the piece of land, you purchase the piece of land, you put your blocks there, you put your sand there, and you're good to go. Here, it's done. You just go there, put some paperwork together, and you walk. Now, if you don't know what it entails, and we've all lived in apartment complexes, if you don't know what it entails, ordinary rodents, mice, infesting the house can send you packing.
Yeah.
If you don't know that this thing can ruin the house, termites can destroy the house, some things you need to know. But if you don't go for these classes to know, which is very good, you are going for the class, yes, they are paying you for going to learn what is good for you. What a good way to start.
Another question. Okay. I think we should wrap it up this way. Okay.
Last one.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Like somebody has a good credit now, don't have a down payment to get a property. What the document that you need to have?
Yeah, so the down payment program that I was talking to you about, we give you 3.5% for the down payment. And if you should definitely try to have some closing costs. That money is something that it's on top of the loan period, no matter what. but I can help you with the down payment and possibly 1.5% of the closing costs, in addition to whatever the seller gives you as well. So there's programs out there for people with good credit, medium credit, bad credit, can get down payment assistance for the program that's already set. So you end up getting 100% more.
Another question is, like maybe I have on a property like 2 years ago. Can your company refinance?
Yes. That you own, you had a property that you bought 2 years ago?
In another company, not your company.
Of course.
All right.
I can refinance any property, period. Any loan, whether you're with Wells Fargo, Bank of America, I can refinance you, take cash out, not lower the interest rate, come on, you got it. But I can refinance any property with any lender, it doesn't matter.
Can I just add to what you said? You're buying a house, make sure you have money in the bank. Don't say, oh, they have assistance. The assistance can pay the whole thing. But they still want to make sure you have an income, you have a saving attitude. It's not like you're coming over, you spend the money for parties and you don't have any saving culture. The underwriters still need to see that, because after you move into the house, you still have to pay the mortgage. If your attitude towards money is bad, then it still won't get approval, even if you get $100,000.
Yeah.
So at least you have to have something in your account.
Oh yeah, you got your money, your salary or your income comes into your bank. They know, it comes in there. They have to see those paper trails. That it's not that you get paid $5,000 today, then the next day you're broke.
Yes. I know some of our people do contribution, and this contribution, the money come like at once. Say somebody you do contribution somewhere.
You talk about like Susu?
A Susu.
Yeah. Okay.
And you collect 25,000.
Yeah.
Boom, and you hit your account and you say you want to buy a house. They will ask some question. How do we answer that?
I did one Susu customer, and I understood it because I'm a Ghanaian, but the underwriter didn't understand it. So I had to write a whole letter about what Susu is and this and that. We closed the loan. It was difficult because it's not normal for people to do. It's a cultural thing for us, and it makes sense because if you have the money in your account, you're going to spend it. If you have kids, these kids, I call them gold diggers. They take all your money, all of it. Like my kids, they want all of it.
Designs.
Like I'm having a flashback right now. But the Susu thing, I was surprised. I thought it was going to be denied, to be honest with you. But then when I got on the phone with the underwriter and I talked to them and told them what it was, she was like, "Wow, that's a good idea." She was a white lady. She was like, "That's a good idea," because you give $1,000 or even $100. Everybody give $100, and then you get it all back at one time. So stuff like that. If I see that in your bank account, if I don't want any problems, I'll tell you to wait. Let it be 30 days. Let it be 30 days so I don't even see it. If I don't see it, I don't see it. So if I know that come tell me, oh, I'm going to get my Susu money next week. Okay, no problem. If you're going to get that money, I'm going to tell you if I need it for the loan, put it inside the account, or let your mother or your aunt gift it to you. You can get a gift. So that's something that you need to tell me. So I'll say, okay, so Auntie Akosia is going to give Efia $10,000. No problem. So the money goes into Auntie Akosia's account. And the dates matter. So 30 days, then all I see is the money is there. Then I do a gift letter because I'm going to need Auntie Akosia's bank account to show that she has the ability to give Efia the money. There's no Susu.
In conclusion,
it's a gift.
In conclusion, how do I reduce the interest rate? Like interest rates, can we buy down, and how does it work?
Yes, you can buy down the interest rate.
And how far can we go buying down?
you can buy it down. To me, when I calculate the cost of how much savings you're going to save a month versus how much it's going to cost you to buy the interest rate down. For an example, if the rate is 5%, right, and you want to get a 4.5%, the cost depends on the margin and the index. It can cost you $10,000, it can cost you $5,000, it can cost you $3,000. So depending on how much it costs to buy down the interest rate, I would take that cost and divide it by 12 and see whether it's really going to make a huge, if it's only going to make a $50 difference to your payment, it's not worth it to me. $50 savings times, times 30 years, 30 months, to me, it's not a big deal. Or if you can go FHA. FHA is huge. A lot of the sellers don't like FHA loans. I really believe because they know certain classes get FHA loans, and that's a way to stop people from redlining and buying in that certain area. That's my personal belief. But an FHA loan, you may have a 4% interest rate. A conventional loan, you may have a 4% interest rate. FHA loan, you may have a 5% interest rate, but the payment on the FHA loan is lower. Why? Because the conventional loan, you have to have 750 to 850 credit scores. If you don't have those high credit scores, they're going to hit you on the mortgage insurance, on the monthly mortgage insurance. So it's always good. I always like to compare the two. When you come to me, I'm going to give you both payments. FHA, conventional. You choose what you want. You saying that you have a low interest rate is not going to save you money. Half the people that say they have 2% is lying. And I have a 2% because when Obama came in office, I had one of the first modifications. So I modified my loan. They took $75,000 off of what I owed. And it's sitting there in an account. If I sell my property, then I gotta pay it. But if I don't sell it or if I refinance it, I can subordinate it. So I have a 2% interest rate. But that was very difficult to get. So don't worry about telling your friends, oh, I have this and such interest rate. You can lie just like they lie, because most of the times they don't have that. if that's what makes you feel better. But at the end of the day, you want to get the lowest payment as possible for yourself and for your family.
Yeah, let me just quickly add, Pastor, I'm sorry. It's when we get to the technicalities of things, you will get confused.
Yes.
But just have it at the back of your mind that you need this house. Because at the end of the day, it's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Look at your house as your savings account.
Yeah.
Just have it in your mind, this is my savings account. There will be issues, and if you go and start telling John Mellowbear that you're buying a house, she's going to tell you the good story about her buying a house that's going to more or less discourage you.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for another house.
Yeah.
You just shoot yourself in the leg. So stick to it, do it now.
Amen. Say to somebody, stick to it.
Stick to it.
Do it now. I like that. Please type it online. Stick to it. Do it now. Please celebrate Jesus for our guests and our Father. You can meet her one-on-one. You can meet her one-on-one. She's still here. She's not rushing. Please celebrate Jesus for her. Celebrate Jesus for Elder Charles also. Thank you. Please take your seat now. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you.